again to all you music lovers out there. This is Christine. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am looking at You Give Me Fever, which is one of the songs that's on Tomplay, the sheet music app. I talked all about Tomplay, walk you through it in another video. If you click up above here somewhere, you can take a look. But right now I am working on the easy level. I have been practicing, I think, about 9 hours. I started just before Christmas and have tried to practice about an hour a day, but probably about 5 days a week I've been doing out of that. And now the song is a 130 beats per minute song. So this is full speed. I'm just gonna play it so you can hear it. It's fairly fast if you're a beginner. So I'm gonna play for you right now a little bit at 130 beats per minute because I can play, well, you'll see how far I can play. And then I'm gonna slow it down and play a bit farther. But let's go ahead and do this full speed. We'll turn off the piano, just put the accompaniment on. That's actually pretty great at full speed. This is the section you can see at the top here where I start to panic a little bit at full speed, but I'll play it for you a little bit slower. And you'll notice I'm not singing along yet. The last part I'm gonna do is learn the vocals properly, and then I'll put it all together. The plan is to really memorize the whole thing because I think this is probably difficult for all piano players, but especially as a beginner, reading the treble line and the bass line and a lyric line and all the notes together, it's not happening. I right now have practiced up through about measure 26, I think. So I've completed measure 26. The song is 75 measures long. So I'm only about a third of the way there, but I'm very much enjoying the song, and the goal for me is to play it for you guys at full speed all the way through and sing along as well, because it is in a great range, I think, for myself. It's like an alto, pretty low range, which is good. I sing soprano too in the choir, but I think really I'm an alto. An alto 1 maybe, but. All right, let's crank down the tempo to, we'll go with 90. It sounds way cooler faster, but see how far we get with it. I think I'm really gonna get into jazz. This song is really fun to practice, and doesn't it have a great bass line? And that swing 8th beat. That's about as far as I've gotten. I can go maybe another measure or so after this, but at slower speeds. In case you're interested, the way I have worked through this song is that first I've made sure I understand all the finger numbers. There are finger numbers on every single note almost, everywhere I really needed it, all the way down to the end of the song. And you can also see down here in the last measures here, I put note names over some of the notes. I'm still not a master of every note on the scale, and so rather than having to look up every time or try to count down, especially on the bass line, counting backwards with the notes is quite difficult. So I just threw the notation on there. Tomplay lets you create your own scores and then annotate them. So you can see I have my own up here at the top I have my own score I just named C. And that way I changed some of the finger numbers that I didn't like that they had. Honestly, I think some of them they just messed up because they didn't make any sense whatsoever. But also, if you're just more comfortable putting your hands at different configuration, you can change them. And then putting in the note names. And then from there, what I did was I started with a section of the song. I learned this trick from R2, my instructor, when I was down in Spain. You can watch that lesson up here also if you want to check it out. But basically, I would take one line of the song. This isn't too difficult, so I don't need to go 1 or 2 measures at a time. I could really do one line. And I started with the bass line, since the song starts on bass. I think normally most people start with their right hand. And what they'll do is they'll learn a few measures with one hand, and then learn the other hand very slowly. And then I worked on building up speed with both hands before trying to combine them very slowly again. So what I did for this one was I learned the beginning of the song. The bass line is extremely repetitive, so I can play through most of the song before it gets a little bit complicated. But I worked through the first bunch of measures, sped it up until I could play it at 130 beats per minute. Also, you can go a little faster than that if you want to really get master it. Then I did the same with the treble line, right hand, and then I joined the two together. And when I joined the two together, and also even when I would just start on a new section with one hand, I didn't use the play. Rather than letting Tomplay dictate my speed, I learned it at my own pace. I would listen through the section a few times just to make sure I had the rhythm correct, but then I would try it a few times without the app moving, because even at the slowest tempo, which is 64 beats per minute for this song, it can be difficult for a beginner to keep up with that if they've never seen the piece of music before. So I'd learn each hand without using the app scrolling cursor, then start using the cursor, speed it up, then go back to trying to join them together again without the cursor. And when you join your hands together, I recommend 1 or 2 measures at a time, and that's it. Because especially with songs where you don't hit the notes on both hands at the same time, it takes a bit to get comfortable with the rhythm of each hand. And once you can do that, then you can start the tempo off at the slowest and then slowly add tempo as you get more comfortable. And I am a huge fan of this loop feature, which allows you to the app will just loop through a section over and over again, so you can just repetitively practice it. And that is what I've been doing down here at this complex section, is I'll start at a tempo that's slow. And it'll keep repeating through it. And then what I'll do is I'll come in and increase the tempo. And when it starts to get a little faster and you're able to do it close to perfect, it's a big ego boost. Really motivates you to keep going. All right, so we'll crank it up a little farther. And then you hit that point where it's a little too fast, but it wasn't awful. So that's where I will just keep repeating it until I get it right, and then continue to increase. And that is how I've been working through You Give Me Fever on the Tomplay app. I hope you found it helpful if you're trying this app, or I think this works very well for using regular sheet music too. So give it a try, leave comments down below, let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel, stay tuned because I will be playing this song in full and singing along, hopefully in the next month or so. I don't want to give any promises because I want to make sure I work through it and really get it down pat. So please stay tuned for that, and we'll see you guys next time.